All right, we are live. Welcome back to another episode of Ask a Clutter Boss. I'm Jess Marcy. I am your Clutter Boss for today. Today's Ask a Clutter Boss episode is going to focus on building a house that practically runs itself. Building a house that practically runs itself. I have my 5 top tips for things that I have implemented in my home and that we have seen our clients implement in their homes that across the board create a home that practically runs itself. And I guess the question to start off with is, why do we want a home that practically runs itself? And the answer to this is pretty simple. Most of our clients, well, all of our clients find their homes to be overwhelming and impacting a lot of different areas of their life. So when your house is overwhelming, when it feels like an endless to-do list, when it is not supporting your life right now, but it's actually adding stress to your life, we need to swap that because clutter is a silent killer in this world. And when we have a home that practically runs itself, it contributes to a healthier, happier life. And anything that we can do to increase our healthy and happier targets and decrease the things that are causing us stress is critical and important. Good morning, Anne. So here are, without further ado, my 5 tips to build a house that practically runs itself. And you may hear some repetition in this Ask the Clutter Boss episode and previous Ask a Clutter Boss episodes. And here's the thing, repetition is what changes everything. So when we say be consistent, create repeatable actions, when we share repeatable feedback and advice, that is because it is what works. And the sooner you can embrace that consistent action is what makes change, the faster you're going to get to your end goals. Okay, so number 1 in building a home that practically runs itself is we are going to focus on systems over stuff. So most homes do not need more organization. What they actually need are better systems. Your home should be built around repeatable actions, not heroic cleanups, right? We're not thinking about, oh, I have to put aside a whole entire weekend to get X, Y, and Z done. A home that runs itself has automated behaviors, things that happen without needing extra willpower or constant reminders. So, for example, your laundry never piles up because you have a daily laundry system, not a laundry day that happens like once a week or once every couple of weeks. Having a system that is repeatable every single day is what makes your home run itself. It's the automated behavior part of this. For example, in my house, when I wake up in the morning, I get up, I get out of bed. Before I go downstairs, I take one simple action. I grab my dirty laundry basket. I have a very small, dirty laundry basket. I can pick it up with one hand. I grab the handles, I bring it downstairs, I put it into the washer, I toss the little pod in, and I press start. I don't even think about this. This is it's my pattern. It's my habit. It happens without thought. I get out of bed. I walk into my closet, grab my laundry basket. I am not even really awake, not even really cognizant, not even really thinking. This is an automated system. Carry it downstairs, toss it into the laundry, into the washer, press start. That's it. That's what happens every single morning without thinking. In the past, I used to have mountains, literal mountains of laundry. And it would take an entire weekend to get through all of my laundry. And then I usually wouldn't even have time to put the laundry away. Now I have a laundry system, a daily laundry system. So we're talking systems over stuff, things that happen automatically. The more you do it, the more automatic it is. And yes, having systems does require putting some energy in the beginning to make that system workable. For example, you may need to put aside an entire weekend to get your laundry down to 0, to get it all clean and put away so that you can implement the daily laundry system. So that might have to happen. But once you get your laundry to 0, then you implement the system, and then it never builds up after that. In fact, when you do have a period of time when there is extra laundry, like you're coming back from a trip, or maybe you've had house guests. I had house guests this weekend, so I have extra laundry. I simply do an additional load of laundry every day until I'm caught up because I have a daily laundry system. So building a house that practically runs itself, tip number one, systems over stuff. Okay, tip number two. And again, we're going to hear some repetition here because consistency and repetition is what actually matters when it comes to our homes. And we want our homes to have habits that do the heavy lifting. So systems and habits, they're like best friends. Your house reflects what you do daily, not what you do once on a big weekend project, right? We're not doing heroic weekend projects. We may have to do that one time to get our spaces down to zero, but we need to have that daily habit in place. So when you make the right habits easy and automatic, maintenance disappears into routine. Maintenance disappears into routine. What I mean by this is in the beginning, we have to work on maintaining our spaces. But once we come up with those systems and those habits, it's just routine. You're not even thinking about it. So when the goal is to stop managing your house and letting your house manage itself, you can implement something like a 5-minute evening reset. We say the 20-minute quick pickup at night, 20 minutes where you go around your house and pick up and put away every single thing that does not belong where it is placed. 20 minutes. And actually, at this point in my life, it's not even 20 minutes. It's maybe 20 minutes once a week because everything happens so automatically. My biggest to-dos every day are dishes and laundry because those are the things that keep continuously pile up and continuously need attention. But everything else has been reduced down to almost zero. So it's not impacting my life every single day. But you need habits to do the heavy lifting so you don't have to be constantly behind. Is this making sense so far? Yes? Okay. My number three tip for building a home that practically runs itself is that we need to reduce the inputs and reduce the chaos. A self-running home has fewer decisions, fewer objects, fewer points of friction. Fewer decisions, fewer objects, and fewer points of friction. And I really like this, phrasing it like this, fewer points of friction, because whenever you say to yourself, oh, I'm saving this because I might need it someday, you're creating a point of friction. You have something in your house that you are not using. It is not supporting your life right now. And whether you think it's not a big deal because it's not taking up that much space, it is a point of friction. And if we want a home that is going to run itself, we need to have as little points of friction as possible. So every unnecessary item, system, subscription, every unnecessary purchase that comes in, it adds to cognitive load. So it's nothing that we have on hand just in case is truly taking zero of our time, right? It is adding to our cognitive load. It is creating that point of friction, and it is woefully unnecessary to add that or have that in your life. You're choosing that. You're choosing to keep stuff that's not supporting your life right now, and you can make a different choice. So just in case adds noise, which steals your time. And when anything is stealing your time, it is impacting your peace. It's stealing your peace. So we want to just really create a situation where we have as little friction as possible, as little extra inputs as possible. And you can literally think of your house like stuff coming in is an input. So if you have packages being delivered every single day, that's a lot of input right there. It's not just that you're bringing more stuff into your house, but you're bringing more packaging. You're creating more points of friction. You have to unpack the item. You have to deal with the garbage. You have to deal with the recycling. You have to break down the box. You have to move all of that stuff out to your recycling bin, out to your garbage. You have to remember to put it out on garbage day. These are all points of friction. Let's reduce those points of friction. Also, having more minimal stuff in general really reduces points of friction. The less clothing you have, the less laundry you have to do. Yes, points of friction, exactly. All right. My tip number 4 for building a home that practically runs itself is to make your systems, make everything as obvious as possible so it's really, really easy. So a system is only going to work if your tired and busy and distracted future self can do it without thinking, or if the other people in your house can use the system and understand the system without having to ask you, how does this work? Where does this go? Where can I find this? That means you have visual simplicity. And I've said this in so many workshops that we've done. Usually, when we have a well organized space, we can figure out really, really quickly in a matter of seconds where something goes. So imagine that you go to your friend's house and you're unloading their dishwasher for them. It'll be pretty simple for you, as somebody who has never unloaded their dishwasher before, to figure out where the plates go, where the glasses go, where the silverware goes, right? That's well organized space. Everything has a blatantly obvious home. All of the dishes are together. All of the glassware is together. All of the silverware is together. This is exactly what you want to replicate throughout the rest of your house. If you open any cabinet in my house right now, you will be able to see exactly the category that lives inside each individual space. And that is a well organized house. That is a system that runs itself. That means if I am not home and I've reorganized some stuff or I've moved things around, if I'm not home, my kids or my husband could theoretically put anything away just by opening up a couple of cabinets and seeing where that collection lives. We reduce friction. We don't want to have to add any time to picking up and putting away. We don't want to have to think, where does this go? Where should this go? Where can I find this? And on the flip side, if we're looking for something, we know that if we look in one single spot and we don't find that item, we do not have that item. There's no, did I put it someplace else? Or because everything so easily gets put away exactly where it belongs, and there is only one choice. There's only one choice where anything might live. There's not stuff, commingled collections everywhere. That's reducing friction. That's saving time. That's making things blatantly obvious. So if you have to put giant labels on your boxes or bins or cabinets that are so obvious, do that. Just do that. If you need a spot for things that tend to just get dropped, create that spot. Make it as obvious as possible. That helps you. It helps everyone that you live with. It just makes life easier. So make it obvious, make it easy. That's tip number 4. And then tip number 5, we need to design our living spaces around how we actually live our lives and not our Pinterest life. So, and this is a really good example, if you come home from the grocery store and there is never any time to decant anything, and by decant, I mean pour it out of the packaging it came in and into a different type of packaging, you should not have extra bins in your kitchen for the purpose of decanting stuff. If you will never open up your cereal and pour it into a clear container, we don't need to have clear containers because it looks prettier. We need to have function first. Absolutely function first. And if that means that you have a drop zone near your door and you would like to have a clear space there, but stuff is always getting dropped there, make it a functional drop zone. Have an actual box there for stuff to drop into, and have the habit that every night you're going to take your 20 minutes, tackle that box, get everything put away. Make it functional. Make your home work for you. It it makes a world of difference. It really, really makes a world of difference. All right, so those are my 5 tips for how to build a home that practically runs itself. My bonus tip is everybody who is willing and able. No. Let me say that again. My bonus tip is everybody who is able in your house should be willing to help out. Um, that means if you have small children, or if you have medium-sized children, or if you have older children, if you have any kids living at home, they need to be participating in maintaining this space. You and your significant other need to figure out a system and a series of responsibilities that works for both of you. I don't believe necessarily that housework should be split 50-50, because we all have different circumstances in our homes and our lives and our relationships. However, I do believe that everybody should have some participation. They should be actively participating in maintaining your home, and that should be a non-negotiable. If you have children, they should be learning how to do their laundry, learning how to pick up their space, learning how to maintain a common space. Non-negotiable. It's not, and we're not arguing, we're not fighting. Everyone needs to be pitching in and helping out to the level or extent that they are able to. And that's going to look different for your family than it looks for my family. It's going to shift over time. But if you're doing everything for everyone, it is your responsibility to change that. If you continue to do everything for everyone, that's never going to change. You will always, right? You have to make that change. You have to implement those changes. You have to basically CEO your home, your whole home, right? You have to be the CEO of your home. You have to delegate. You have to decide whose responsibilities are whose responsibilities, and you have to make sure that that happens. And that just needs to be the expectation in your family culture. If you're always doing everything for everyone else and complaining about it, you are the only person who can change that. So that's the bonus tip. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Ask a Clutter Boss. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. And if you have a topic you would like me to cover next week, or actually next week, there is no Ask a Clutter Boss. In 2 weeks, please drop it into the comments. Have a great day, everyone.